How prayers are processed. Have you ever wondered what happens when a prayer is solicited? If you were reading this material, you might visualize a schematic on how solicitation might be processed. But in lieu of having written compilation before you, I'll try to give you a verbal interpretation of the process instead. Earlier, I made reference to spiritual resources that are invested in responding to your solicitations. First responders are most likely your spiritual guardians. These individuals are generally referred to as spirit guides. When you pray or present a spiritual supplication, your prayer is intercepted by one of your very personal spiritual guardian network. Once a prayer request is received, it is reviewed, and your guides consult with a team of spiritual individuals who are best able to handle your request. These guides interface with your guides to arrange appropriate meetings and encounters that can best address your desire. The results are forwarded to your guides, and you now become connected to events, persons, or opportunities in answer to your request. Every prayer is handled in a similar fashion. This, of course, is a simplification of a network of communication for every solicitation you present throughout your day. The more feeling you solicit with your request, combined with visualization of what you are soliciting, creates a dialogue with those guardians who monitor everything in your life. If you struggle with mental visualization, looking at a picture and projecting a similar request will suffice. The universe responds to picture representations far easier than just with an assumed dialogue. You might have noticed I refer to spiritual entities as living, conscious individuals. This is no accident. Too often, we regard physical existence as the only viable experience. This couldn't be further from the truth. There is more than one life to live. In fact, life is eternal, albeit resembling varying personalities, identifying countless life experiences, and present in both male and female models. Those you have loved, who have returned to their spiritual house, are actively engaged in activity. Aunt Nellie may not be gone forever. In fact, she is probably watching over you presently. So don't despair over the loss of your loved ones. They are quite well and actively engaged in activities of their choosing, roaming freely in an atmosphere of love and creative diversity. To reiterate, with every invocation, with every thought, a flurry of activity commences each time you meditate, pray, or send out one of your thousands of thoughts on any given day. Here are a couple of examples to assist as additional teaching aids. First example, you're seeking employment. You start musing what this job might look like. You start making a list of what you're seeking. Include the salary. Be rational. If you have no skill set as a physician, you need not apply for this position. Do you want to work indoors or outdoors? Do you want to be in an office or travel? Do you have a technical mind or an adventurous one? Do you want to work with marketing or production? Do not pick a job you have no interest in. Pick a job that piques your interest. An important note here: if you give the universe no direction, you will not experience any progression with your creativity. In the Earth's new energy paradigm, seeking something that is not in a vibrational match with you will not fulfill the lasting requirements you should be seeking. And if you provide no details, you might not get the job you're seeking. In fact, you might receive the opposite and then ponder your misguided attempt at manifesting. Better to be detailed and precise with your solicitations. Do not become attached to the outcome at first glance. Perhaps your first job does not check all your boxes, but when you consider all potential, it might just be perfect for you. Your guides are intimately aware of your personalities and always see 360 degrees, while you may only see 180 on your best moment of perception. In translation, this generally means you must trust your gut. This is an incredible internal guidance system fed by your emotions. In your job search, say you're looking for a salary of $70,000. You would like to travel. Indicate the places you'd like to go, and state the type of position that fits your skill set and personality. Your guides now start researching your request. Those guides who have successfully researched your request send notification back to your guides. Your guides place a tempting thought inside your mind. You get inspired to check the internet or familiar research platforms, and your eye catches interest in a particular advertisement. You start to internalize that gut instinct, and you feel compelled to submit your application. While you were letting your fingers do the walking, looking for your perfect position, your guides were busy fluttering about, conducting high-tech meetings with their colleagues to find those positions that might fit your perfect job. Now comes the interesting part. How do your guides relay the findings to you? We talked about nature messages, family remembrances, but there are additional ways Spirit reaches out to relay messages. We also discussed listening to internal responses, but Spirit is not limited to one delivery method and usually incorporates a variety of methods to be sure you are receiving the proper response. Dreams often convey information, but you will need to be able to retain the information transmitted during dream time. If you are a vivid dreamer, you might want to record your dreamscapes through journaling. If you have trouble remembering your dreams, you can set an intention before you go to sleep that you will remember your dreams. And when you awake, remember to record your nightly journey. Spirit might send a message through a stranger who overhears a conversation or a friend who delivers a significant finding. Pay attention to any of synchronicities that Spirit has arranged to make sure the message is delivered. And remember, within the guidelines of the current universal matrix, there are no coincidences. Example 2. You're seeking a new residence. The steps for solicitation will always be the same. Write down the details of your perfect place. Be specific concerning your requirements. Are you a city or a country person? Are you a single home person or a condo person? How many bedrooms are on your wish list, including any must-haves in your creative template, and include the amount of your budget along with extensive visualization. If you are considering relocation to a different state or country, start asking those important questions like, where do I want to reside? Do you like a dry climate, a cold climate, or a tropical one? Do you want to be at the beach or in the mountains? Start narrowing your options by the responses you get. You will want to clarify your preferences to determine what your dream residence will look like. What does your dwelling need to have? Do you need a formal space or a modern one? If a timeline is necessary, include specific details. If you need to sell your current residence first, include the perfect price, and then start clearing out necessary clutter from your dwelling. This is where writing down your intentions becomes helpful. Do not assume your message will come from a familiar messenger. You may be more likely to ponder the significance of a spontaneous encounter and find an obscure message more believable. Again, the universe has eyes and ears everywhere. You might want to start keeping a journal of repetitive thoughts that seem to manifest from nowhere. Keep track of synchronicities. The more you become aware of interactive forces that seem to come from nowhere, the more you can expect synchronistic moments for you to treasure. I've given you just 2 examples on universal, spiritual solicitations. Let's switch things a bit. What happens when collective prayers are received? The HeartMath Institute, located in California, has been registering conscious thought in the universe, in the atmosphere since 1991. The date was 9/11/2001. Using the Hubble satellite, the HeartMath Institute registered atmospheric emotional responses to a deadly attack on humanity that was felt around the world. The collective world prayers were registered atmospherically. While the results of millions of prayers may not have been harnessed instantaneously, the resultant cultural changes have been progressing ever since. The year is 2020, and a global pandemic spread throughout the world, changing lifestyles, challenging humanity, asking for global partners to unite to combat an invisible enemy. Even if you do not believe in prayer, the thoughts of humanity have been sent forth throughout universal ethers, commanding action from spiritual watchers. And while I do not have access to the latest graph from the HeartMath Institute on current atmospheric thought, we are already seeing the results from our solicitations. Nations set out collectively looking for a cure. What research will reveal are multiple cures for multiple issues and a new harmonious unity worldwide. Inspiration may have been sent to multiple individuals with the capability of supplying a resolution. One science team might receive one correct vaccination combination. Another science team might receive an extended cure for other deadly diseases. What is phenomenal is that all nations began working together for a common resolution. When collective prayers are issued, collective resolutions can be expected. And if you look further behind an initial prayer, you will see additional miracles unfolding. What might initially seem harsh might become your greatest adventure. Yes, jobs may be on hold or even changing. Lifestyles may be challenged, but what will emerge can be a world at peace, where opportunity abounds, where natural resources can be renewed, and new inventions will once again propel the world into a new era. Listening to guidance. What happens when that fabulous opportunity is not in your best interest? Say you are super excited about a new adventure. You are preparing for a grand move, a new job, a fabulous trip, or a new relationship, and suddenly things seem to be falling apart. What's going on? It's your universal guidance coming online to prevent you from making a huge mistake. Honor that you might be hung up in that traffic, as this may have prevented you from being in an accident. Honor that you did not get that job because your boss might have been a nightmare. Honor that your bid for that residence you fell in love with was not accepted. You just found out the plumbing was bad. And do not spend too much time pining over your lost relationship, as it just might be protection from a future life of misery. Pay attention to your intuition. If you are getting a feeling something is not right, honor that feeling. Perhaps your stomach does flip-flops. You might get a headache, feel slight nausea, or experience an all-over uncomfortable feeling. The hair on your arms might stand on end. All these internal sensitivities are signaling something is not quite right with what you have considered your perfect pairing.